You're prepared, let us know.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
Okay,
can you hear
everyone
me?
should be muted. Please mute yourself. We will allow everyone to speak at the appropriate time. Good afternoon, everyone who's sitting in the room and also everyone who's joining us virtually. This is a hybrid hearing, so that we'll have to be extra careful in terms of responding to the cues from the board as well as the individual appellants. So I'm just waiting for the court reporter to identify himself, and then we will get started.
Yes, Chair, this is John Kelly. I'm the court reporter today.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just give me our standard signal when you're prepared to start. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We will now begin this meeting of the Illinois Board of Review for today, February 25th, 2025. We will, after several preliminary matters, we will hear from the law department as to matters that have been resolved or requests for continuance. Before we get started, I just want to advise everyone that this is a formal hearing, and so that we expect you to be dressed properly. If you're at home attending virtually, please do not attend the hearing from your bed or your easy chair. Please be dressed properly. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. If you are riding in a vehicle, you must stop and be parked. We will not hear your case if you are not parked in a safe place. The other matter is important that we will call matters and identify them as moot or moot complied. If your address or your name is called, please place close attention, because if it's moot or moot complied, that matter has been resolved for today, and you may exit the hearing and enjoy the rest of your evening. These are public hearings, so if you'd like to stay, you may do so. So that essentially governs all the preliminary matters that we will have to address. Just one moment. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera on, so hopefully, it's not, there you go. Okay. Okay, thank you. All righty, we'll hear from the law department as to matters that have been resolved or requests for continuance.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Michael Rulo, RU LLO, on behalf of the city.
Yes, sir. Mr. Rulo, would you bring that closer to you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beginning with number 3, appeal ending 000776 East 64th Avenue, appellant Luis Ruiz, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 8, appeal ending 000894 5945 Malta Street, Rachel Schlane, moot.
Moot,
Number 11, 000959 1137 South 13th Street, a Thai Lei, moot.
moot, thank you.
Number 13, appeal ending 000988 3222 North 17th Street, Cornelius Couch, moot.
Moot,
Number 14, 000993 508 to 14 South 42nd Street, St. Joseph's University, moot.
thank you.
Number 16, 000997 4628 Wayne Avenue, Ramphilla Community 3 LLC, moot.
Thank you.
Number 17, 000999 9908 Bustleton Avenue, Alexander Gamble, moot. Number 20, 001004 9908 Bustleton Avenue, Alexander Gamble, moot. Number 21, 001005 5333 Wayne Avenue, Curtis Abanqua, moot.
Moot,
Number 34, appeal ending 001096 6049 Wharton Street, Carolyn Middick Waiters, moot. I do just want to note for the record that Miss Minnick Waiters is here. It was determined, and I explained this to Miss Minnick Waiters, that the owner of the property is her mother, who is deceased. She is the heir and the executrix. So the department is going to be reissuing that violation notice to Miss Minnick Waiters. I did just want to note that for the record that has been explained. And
Oh, thank you. The issue of transfer of the deed, name on the deed will be resolved in that.
it has
Period of
not been
time.
resolved. I do not know the status of that. All I have is that she is the executrix,
Yeah,
and there is a
okay.
there is a Liz Pendens noting that on the property records with the Department of Records.
Okay,
That is where my knowledge of how those things
Okay.
reaches its end.
okay, that should be sufficient then. Ms. Waiters, are you present today? Ma'am, this matter, you understood what was just said by the law department? Okay, so this matter is resolved for today. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but you don't have to stay any longer. You're welcome.
And just for Mr. Kelly, the court reporter, the response to the chairman's question was yes. I wasn't
Yes.
sure if he picked that up, so I
Thank you.
just wanted to note it.
Thank you.
Moving to number 39001118, 1333 North 76th Street, Pamela Daniels, moot.
Moot.
Number 43001142, 600 Stroud Street, MC McCullough, excuse me, I believe it is Bernice Bertha McCullough. That is moot.
Moot.
Number 46001162, 2608 Seltzer Street, Joseph Marshall, moot. Number 47001171, 846 East Westmoreland Street, a Romulo Yieloso II, moot.
Moot.
Excuse me. What that means? What's mooch mean?
Sir, that means that for today, it's resolved. Now, if you need additional explanation, please call the administrator's office on that. There's a telephone number on that communication that you received, okay?
So I don't have to stay here if it's.
No, you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Number 48001177, 2041 Westmoreland Street, Jerome Enoch, moot.
Moot.
49001205, 544 East Penn Street, Kevin Matheson, doing business as Brother Hermanos LLC, moot.
Moot.
Number 50001207, 2524 West Thompson Street, Harrison Incorporated, moot.
Okay, thank you very much. All righty. Any additional matters, Mr. Rulo?
I do. Turning to number 15000996, 2428 North Park Avenue. I hate 2428 North Park Avenue LLC. There was
Okay.
an agreement that was submitted to the board that is a city affirm with a 90-day stay of enforcement. Mr. Whalen is not appearing and confirmed that he consented to this being entered into the record in a communication to the board.
Okay, thank you. So that's a settlement in place. Thank you.
Directing the board's attention to number 23001015, 300 West Albina Street, Stella Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez is present here and determined that we're going to need a Spanish interpreter. My colleague Will Fernandez did explain this to her. She remains so that we can give her potentially the rescheduled date.
Okay, Ms. Motor, do we have a date we can give her? Okay, we'll have to communicate. Yeah, is she here? She's in the back there? Okay, Ms. Fernandez, please share with her that we will send a date and we will communicate that to her later. Okay.
I did want to address one other preliminary matter, number 41001127, 4832 North 6th Street, Val Rodman. I believe Mr. Rodman is here on the Zoom conference.
What number was that? 41? Okay. Mr. Rodman, are you present? If you are, please unmute.
Mr. Rodman, you're still muted.
Well, while he's doing
Can
it,
you hear me?
yes,
Yes, I'm here.
okay. So, Mr. Rolo, what is the,
I'm just raising a preliminary matter, which is that this concerns a zoning and use issue. And there's actually a hearing on the precise issue before the Zoning Board of Adjustment actually tomorrow. If Mr. Rodman is successful with that appeal, it will likely moot out the violations here. So I would just respectfully submit that under the circumstances, it probably makes sense to continue the matter. I would
Okay.
note, though, that unfortunately our colleagues over at your colleagues over at the zoning board are taking quite some time to issue their decision letters. So I'd suggest perhaps 90 days, given my experience recently.
okay. Mr. Rodman, did you fully understand what was put on the record just now?
Not exactly.
What he's saying essentially that you have a zoning hearing scheduled for tomorrow. Were you aware of that?
Yes, I have a tenant that I thought he would be at the meeting.
Well, I'm not sure whether this attorney or someone else will be representing the city at that hearing or not. But you have a zoning hearing tomorrow regarding your property. If it goes in your favor, that would mean you would probably not need to come back to see us.
Okay.
And so he's proposing that we continue this case for 90 days to give you sufficient time to complete your zoning matter. That's what he's proposing. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, I guess so. My tenant is really the one who was involved with the zoning hearing.
Well, but it's the same address, correct?
Right. Yeah, I own the property, but the
Yeah.
tenant has his
So-
own attorney and accountant that they're taking
Okay,
care of.
so if they are successful, if your tenant and his accountant, et cetera, are successful on tomorrow, you may not have to come back. That will moot out this issue.
That sounds
This
good.
issue is predicated on the underlying violation, which is a zoning matter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do, unless there's an objection, we will continue this matter for at least 90 days.
Okay.
Okay? All right,
Yes.
thank you very much, sir. Mr. Odo, please note that continuance at least 90 days. Thank you.
That does it for my preliminary matters.
Okay, thank you. As normal, we will ask anyone else from the law department who has a preliminary matter, please use the raise hand sign so that, oh, we have someone here in the room. We'll address that. If you here, you get to speak first. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman Woodson, and good afternoon, board members. A few preliminary matters to take care of for me today. John Wazorek on behalf of the city. First,
Oh, sir, would you mind spelling that for the court reporter, please? Mr. Val Roman, you may leave Rodman, you may leave if you like.
Okay,
this-
thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
spell my last name.
Yes.
W-I-E, C as in cat, Z as in zebra, O-R-E-K.
Thank you.
If I could direct your attention to number 17 through 20 on the list, it's all the same appellant, Alexander Gample, and
Okay.
the same property, 9908 Bustleton Avenue. I believe my colleague, Mr. Rulo, noted that numbers 17, appeal ending 000999, and appeal number 20, ending 001004, those are moot.
Correct.
For number 18 on the list, appeal ending 001001, that matter has been resolved and it will be a city of firm with a $150 fine.
Thank you.
And number 19, appeal ending 001003 will also be a city of firm and a $150 fine. And that agreement's been sent to the board previously.
Thank you very much.
I would next turn to number 22 on the list, appeal ending 001007 for the property located at 6157 Van Dyke Street. The appellant is Joseph Smith. That matter has also been resolved. It is an agreement for a city affirm with a $150 fine.
Thank you.
And finally, number 44, appeal ending 001148, 2301 John F. Kennedy Boulevard. The appellant is AJS Cranes LLC.
So would you read that number? I'm not sure if I'm tracking that. Give us that number again.
Number 44 on the list,
Yeah, the appeal number.
001148,
Thank you.
2301 John F. Kennedy Boulevard, appellant AJS Cranes LLC. That is similarly an agreement for a city affirm with a $150 fine.
Thank you.
And that concludes my business for the day.
Thank you very much.
It was nice to see you all.
Yes. Do we have anyone else in the room who has a preliminary matter?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Lee Begelman on behalf of the
afternoon, Mr.
city.
Begelman.
My last name is spelled B as in boy, Egelman. I have two preliminary matters. The first concerns appeal number 40 on the list. That appeal number is ending in 1121 concerning 1200 Alcott Street. Appellant Jean Pierre. We have an agreement in this matter. That's a city affirm with a 6-month stay of enforcement.
6 months stay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have one additional preliminary matter to address. This concerns number 33 on the list, appeal number ending 1095. Address is 5220 North Sydenham Street. Appellant Miko Wilder. I had sent an email to the board lodging 2 preliminary objections to the appeal, both an untimeliness and a standing issue.
Okay.
Um,
All right, let's do this. Is Mika Wilder present? Mika Wilder. Anyone in the room representing the interests of 5220 North Sydenham Street? Anyone in the room? I don't see, Mr. Rolo, do we have anyone in the waiting room?
There's no one in the waiting room, sir.
Okay. There's no one in the waiting room by that name?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, no one's responding. Mr. Begelman, what is your pleasure?
Therefore, the city would request this appeal be denied for failure to appear.
Okay, Mr. Pettit, what time do we have?
1:01 PM.
1:01 PM. Thank you very much. We will poll the board on HA 2024-001-095, 5220 North Sydenham Street, Mika Wilder. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else in the room?
Good afternoon.
No, please.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Michelle Reinhardt for the City of Philadelphia. I have just a few administrative matters. The first is number 5 on the list. This is regarding 5235 Chester Avenue. This was a continuance requested by appellant that I believe was previously administratively granted. I just
Yes.
want to confirm.
Yes.
Thank you. And then for case number 36, this is regarding 4737 Darris Street. Appellant counsel, I believe, is appearing virtually. And I believe that they submitted a continuance request at the end of last week. The city was unopposed.
Okay, I don't have the name of the counsel for the appellant. Would you mind putting that on the record so we can ask that person to make themselves known to the board?
Of course, it is Joseph Catuzzi, Catuzzi.
Catuzzi?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Catuzzi, are you present?
Good afternoon, members of the board. I am here virtually today, Joseph Catuzzi, on behalf of the appellant, Amy Neal.
Okay, and you submitted a request for continuance for today's hearing?
That's correct. We were engaged on Monday. We've been rolling up our sleeves, submitted documents Friday. Upon my engagement, I've also been reaching out to Ms. Reinhardt. I think hopefully Ms. Reinhardt and we spoke before the hearing today. Hopefully we're able to set a blueprint for a potential mooting of this issue and may hopefully be able to save the board a lot of time.
Okay.
We also have a consultant who wouldn't be available for today's hearing, but we're hopeful that we don't even need him. We respectfully request a continuance and thank you for your consideration of our request.
Okay, so based on your representation and Ms. Reinhardt's testimony on the record, then we will continue this matter. Okay,
Thank
have a
you.
good afternoon.
You as well.
Okay,
Thank you. I have just one more administrative matter. It is number 26 on the list regarding 7436 Medrick Place. I believe I see appellant on the screen virtually. I would note appellant is listed as Mohammed Abdullah, and that is not the owner of the property. On the appeal, it was raised, this notice of violation was issued to the wrong address, so I wanted to raise a standing question to the board.
okay, is there, and also note that we discussed this matter in executive session and it was a request for a continuance. We'll ask Mr. Mohammed Abdullah, are you present?
Good
Please
afternoon,
unmute.
everyone.
Sir, did you submit a request for continuance?
No, sir, I did not.
You did not. Okay. Ms. Reinhardt, weren't aware of that either?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are you prepared to move forward today?
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt, are you
So
prepared?
it would be pending, I need to talk to the inspector after it is determined what the standing may be.
Okay, okay. Yeah, if we resolve those preliminary matters, I'm asking, are you prepared to move forward?
I would have to have a conversation with the inspector depending on the outcome of what was determined about the ownership of the property.
Okay.
Could you just clarify what you stated a bit earlier about the violation being issued to the incorrect address? I thought I heard you say that the violation notice went to the incorrect address.
So that was raised on the appeal. It says violation was at another property address, also following wrong date on violation. I take that to mean that they believe that the inspector issued it to the wrong address.
Would it be
Hello?
helpful if you and the appellant had a conversation before we call this matter today? Because if it is to the wrong address, why don't we get that dealt with right now?
That would be the inspector you'd have to clarify. You would have to clarify that with the inspector.
Partially, but it's partly now a matter of connecting two people virtually while I'm in the hearing room as well. So that those are part of the challenges that are involved,
Okay.
logistically speaking.
What would you like us to do right now?
So my question is about standing as I don't believe that
Okay, let's do
appellant
this. Let's do this.
is the
Let's
owner
do
of the
this.
property.
Mr. Mohammed Abdullah, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, Mr. Abdullah,
Yes.
that was the other right hand we needed you to raise. You swear or affirm, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
Mr. Abdullah, what is your relationship to this property? Are you the owner?
No, I am a tenant.
You're a tenant, and
Okay.
is this a residential property and you live there, or is it commercial?
It's residential. I live here, and I would just like to clear something up.
Okay,
This entire time, what I meant was that the violation was in the mail at another address. I don't know why anyone thought that it meant the violation was issued to another address.
okay, they misinterpreted your language. Okay, so now what kind of matter is this, Ms. Reinhardt? Is this a cease?
No, it's not. It's a permit regarding a deck. So with that, since he is the tenant of the property, I no longer have an issue with standing and can put the inspector and the appellant in a conversation together after I finish with a case that is currently in the room.
Okay, but now we still may have a standing matter. Mr. Abdullah, did you build the deck?
No, it was there when I moved in.
Okay, so you are not the owner of the property.
No, sir, I'm not.
So the violation notice didn't come to you.
No, they didn't, but
Okay,
if
so you don't have standing then to appeal this.
you're right, I don't.
So we do have a standing matter. So this is going to be, he has lack of standing. We can't proceed with this.
As I will say that as the tenant, I do believe that he could be heard on this, but obviously defer to the board.
If it's a building
decision.
permit, he can't cure that.
I defer to the board's
Yes,
decision.
no, we're in hearing that. This is a lack of, he doesn't have standing for this, on this matter. Sir, we're going to dismiss your appeal for lack of standing.
All right.
Thank you. The
Thank you.
owner can appeal. If he chooses not to, that's his problem.
May I say something, sir?
No, we don't want to cloud the record. So thank you very much for your participation today.
You're
You may
welcome.
call Ms. Reinhardt if you like. If there's some other information you want to discuss with her, you can do that.
It's
Okay,
just
'cause
about the
right now you're on
landlord.
the record.
It's just for the landlord. Her sister passed away and she's not around at the moment. That's all. That's
Okay,
just
all right. Thank you. But it's the landlord's legal responsibility. You can't represent her interests.
Of course, you're right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have any this matter is dismissed for lack of standing.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Will Fernandez for the City of Philadelphia. I have one preliminary matter regarding case number 35 on the list.
Okay,
Appellant Konstantin Bychak, represented by Justin Crick, who is in the virtual meeting room. The appeal number is HA 2024 ending 1106. I have discussed this matter with Mr. Crick, and we have settled upon a disposition. City affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
okay, Mr. Crick, are you present? Sir, if you're present,
Yes, I
please
am.
unmute.
Yes, I am.
Okay, all righty. I just wanted that to be known before we have the city put, so repeat the settlement.
City affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Crick, is that according to your understanding?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much. This matter is resolved based
Thank you.
on the representation from the city. Thank you. Okay, do we have any other preliminary matters from anyone in the room? If not, I will then go to the screen and raise hands. And Mr. Christopher Johnson.
Good afternoon, board. There were a couple of matters that I wanted to just confirm were continued administratively. Number 37 and 38. 37 is HA 2024-001111, 1301 East Passyunk Ave.
That matter was continued.
And
Has been
38
continued.
HA 2024-001112, 903 Wharton.
That matter has also been continued.
All right, thank you. How about number 42, HA 2024-001129?
That we have a request for a continuance, but I wanted to hear from the city. What is your
Okay.
position on this request?
The city has no objection to a brief continuance on that. I know that council was just retained, and the prior council had just withdrawn from that case. I believe the requesting council, Mr. Bryant, is on the line here too.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am. Thank you.
Mr. Bryant, yeah, would you mind putting your name on the record, please?
Sure. My name's Peter Bryant, and I represent the owner at 774-90 South 7th Street, and I was just retained.
Okay, your last name is spelled?
Bryant, like
Thank you.
Kobe.
Oh, okay. I assume that's a relative.
Well, as you can tell.
Okay, so the request for continuance has been granted.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
May I be excused?
Yes, please. Enjoy your afternoon. Anything else, Mr. Johnson?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, alrighty. I have another hand from Ms. Aquino.
Hi, good afternoon, board members. I have one agreement to read on the record.
Yes,
That's number 24 on today's list. Appeal
24?
ending 24. Appeal ending 001021. That's at 2126 South 60th Street, Nova Assets LLC. And that was resolved with an agreement, for a city affirm and a $150 fine.
150? All right, thank you very much.
And, actually, one other matter, there may be a standing issue with number 27 on today's list. That's appeal ending 001035, 2548 East Ann Street. So this is an SBN, it's concerning an SBN that was issued to Amanda O'Donnell, and the appellant is Mariah Titus. I'm
Okay,
not sure if she's present here today.
okay. Mariah Titus, are you present? Ms. Titus, Titus, 2548 and East Ann Street, are you present? Okay, no one is responding. Mr. Rolo, do we have anyone in the waiting room? No, there's no one in the waiting room. Ms. Aquino, what is your pleasure?
City requests a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay, Mr. Petty, what time do we have?
1:15 PM.
1:15 PM? Okay, thank you very much. We will poll the board on HA 2024-001035, 2548 East Ann Street, Myra Titus, city affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for lack of appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
Okay, thank you very much. That resolves that matter.
And lastly, board members, may I please be put into a breakout room with Inspector Austin Duck and Mr. Halimi, both are present virtually.
Okay, Mr. Rolo, can you accommodate that? Please, note the, prompt. Mr. Quinn, who are the other individuals?
Inspector Austin Duck and Halimi, his name on the screen there is HALIMI. Thank you.
Okay, but all the three of you, please, note the prompt and join the breakout room, please.
Thank you, so noted.
That should be on your screen. Okay, thank you. Alrighty, Mr. Jose Gonzalez.
Yes, good afternoon.
Sir, are you with the city, the law department?
No, I'm here with the owner of the house, which is named Luis
Okay.
Ruiz,
Okay,
but he
at
doesn't
the
speak
moment,
English. I'm here to.
okay, sir, at the moment, I'm only hearing from lawyers who represent the city in various cases, so we will get to your matter in a few moments, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So you can move the ladies stand. Okay, anyone else? Mr. Fernandez? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. I'm afraid I jumped the gun earlier when I said I had no further administrative matters. I
Okay.
have, I believe, two continuances that were confirmed to be issued administratively that I'd like to put on the record.
Yes,
First involves case number 28, appeal number ending 1039 for 7161 to 69 State Road. Appellant is Gladys Williams, represented by attorney Michael Williams.
yes, that matter was continued in executive session.
Thank you. Next is number 29 on the list, appeal number ending at HA 2024, ending 1046, property 2050 Welsh Road. Appellant Maria Gutierrez, represented by Harry Cook.
Yes, that matter was also continued.
Okay, and then finally, a matter number 32 on the list, HA 2024, ending 1088, 1316 East Passyunk Avenue, appellant PHL 1316 Passy LLC, represented by Michael Phillips. This was initially a continuance request was submitted, and then subsequently the appellants emailed board administration to withdraw their appeal.
Yes, it's been noted as withdrawn.
Okay, and then I did have another matter that was settled. That settlement was sent to board administration, but I'd still like to put it on the record.
Which number is that?
Number 31 on the list, ending 1053, address 5331 Wayne Avenue, Appellant Cinderella Realty LLC, represented by Jermaine Harris. That was settled, city affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
90-day stay. Okay, thank you.
And now I am quite confident that concludes my preliminary matters. Thank you, board members.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no other matters from the law department, just let me check, unless the board may have a few matters that need to be resolved. Just for a moment. Did we hear from the city regarding 7161-69 State Road, Gladys Williams? We did? Okay, we heard.
Mr. Chairman.
Yep, okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, let's now proceed to our regular list. Mr. Rolo, you have something else for us?
Yes, just very briefly, I think there's an individual, Mr. Peter Coppola, who is here just operating off of a phone. He indicated he does not have access to something that can provide video. I was just going to ask if I could be placed in a breakout room with him.
Okay, certainly. Mr. Coppola, if you should see a prompt to go to a breakout room to have a conversation with the city attorney, Mr. Rolo. Just give us a moment. Mr. Coppola, speak so that you can identify yourself, because we don't see you on the screen yet. We don't see your number. Okay, Mr. Rulo, I'm not sure he's still with us.
He does not appear to be. I know that earlier there was a cell phone. He was checked in. I believe that his name was changed from the cell phone number to that. And I do not know where he is now.
Okay, well, we'll move on, and if you, of course, will act accordingly. Okay, Mr. Rolo. Are we prepared to proceed, Mr. Rolo?
Yes, Mr. Woodson. Item number 4 on the list, hearing appeal ending 07897425 Brockton Road, Bryan Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes is present, I believe. Step up, sir.
The city actually has a request to discuss this case in a breakout room. We're just asking for that in order to have both the appellants and the supervisor who is appearing virtually in order to discuss and try to streamline a few questions.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes, one, please remove your hat. Is it a medical problem? Okay, all right. The city has requested an opportunity to meet with you before your case is heard. Is if you're prepared, willing to do that, you can check with her. You guys can meet outside. Okay, she'll walk with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excuse me.
We'll
This is-
pass this matter and come back to it.
Pardon me, Chair, this is the court reporter. May I please be reminded what attorney that was for the city.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Thank you, sir.
Michelle Reinhardt.
Thank you.
That's spelled Reinhart. Thanks.
Thank you.
Room 2.
Okay, what do we have next?
Next would be item number 12 on the list, sir. Hearing appeal ending 0982-5715 Hunter Street, David Rogers. Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers?
Good afternoon, board.
Sit on the, yeah, the right-hand side. Who's representing the city in this matter? Is that Ms. Reinhardt's case as well?
I believe it's Mr. Rulo's. I'll go see if I can retrieve him.
Okay, we'll see if we can get him to come back just for a moment, sir. Okay, Mr. Rulo, if you put your name on the record, please.
Yes, Michael Rulo on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, Mr. Rogers? David Rogers, put that button so we can, yeah, there you go.
David Rogers.
Okay, sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You can lower your hand. Mr. Rulo, do you have any witnesses today?
I do, but I think there's actually a preliminary matter that to address.
Okay,
So I had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Rogers ahead of the hearing, and he has provided me with a copy of a deed reflecting that he has sold the property,
okay.
which would moot the violation here. The
Oh.
hangup is that legally speaking, famous last words for an attorney, a transfer is not complete until it's reflected in the Department of Records records. It is not there yet. They are running behind, to say the least.
Okay,
So if, the city's ready to proceed in this matter, but I have to admit, and I believe the request here is going to be for continuance, because in the next 30 to 60 days, it is almost certain that the matter will be moot.
but may I ask this, but the violation will still exist, right? So someone has to be held accountable for the violation.
Yes, and so we actually have the information for the new owner, and that violation case will be reissued. If you'd like to hear from Mr. Rogers, he's told me that he has informed the new owner that the
Okay.
new owner. is
Well, let's hear
aware
from
of
Mr. Rogers. But two things, Mr. Rogers, is it in fact your request to continue this matter so the paperwork can catch up with the
Yes, sir.
reality of the facts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Secondly, have you informed the new owner of
Yes,
this
sir.
outstanding issue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, please. Oh, okay, just one moment. Record. Okay, based on your request, Mr. Rulo, we're gonna grant the request for continuance.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Let us move on.
Mr. Rogers.
You excused for today. This matter is being continued.
And if the property is sold and it's reflected in the records, it's going to be part of moot, and the violation will be reissued.
I'm sorry, this is the court reporter. I'm not hearing what's being said.
Okay, do you want that on the record, Mr. Rulo?
I think we're good. We just, yeah.
If you're not, then just step away and you guys can talk. Mr. Kelly, that was not on the record.
Pardon.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay,
Mr. Chair, calling
Yes.
your attention number 30 on the list.
30?
Hearing appeal ending 1052 for 4248 Parkside Avenue. James Brame is the appellant. Mr. Brame?
Okay.
Step right up, sit right over here, sir.
Yes, have a seat here. Who's representing the city in this matter?
Hi, this is Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Afternoon, Mr. Johnson. Do you have the witnesses for today, Mr. Johnson?
Yes. The witness is, I believe, Inspector Brian Conaway.
Okay, while you're trying to connect with him, I'd like to have Mr. Brame raise his right hand so he may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm, sir, that your testimony be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Turn the mic on so we can hear you.
The light is on.
Yeah, pull it closer to your face and your response is?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Let your hand down. Mr. Johnson, we do have a preliminary matter with this case. I think there's an issue of timeliness in this matter. And so we're gonna need to do what we're calling a non-pro tunc preliminary hearing before we get to the underlying matter, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Brame, what it appears, according to our records, is that you did not file your appeal in a timely fashion. And so we need to have a preliminary hearing today, right now, with you to have you explain to us why you were late, according to our records. Now, your records may reflect something different, so we want to have you share your understanding of what happened before we go to the underlying hearing, okay? All right, now, according to our records, you had a violation was written on December 9th of 2023. And you submitted an appeal on March 19th, 2024. That's a little over 30 days late. I mean, my apologies, much over 30 days late, closer to 90 days late. So can you explain why you didn't submit your appeal within a 30-day allowed period?
I actually thought I
Do you have any paperwork with you?
No, what I did was when I got the violation in the mail, I mean, I didn't know that, actually know that I was late. I just went down to the.
Did you read the violation notice?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and on the violation notice, it tells you had 30 days to appeal the violation.
Yeah, I had thought that I had done it in a timely manner.
Do you have the violation notice with you?
I have the information about this hearing. I thought all that was on the record. I thought this was a meeting to discuss the violations that they had a problem with.
Well, no, this is the hearing you requested because you submitted an appeal of the violation.
If
And
it pleases the
so-
board, I can show the documents on the screen.
Yes, if you would do
In a
that,
few
sir.
months that they'll send me something in the mail. I got something in the mail and here I am. I was not aware that I was late on the 30 days.
Okay, let's look
I
at the,
apologize for being late on the
Well,
30 days. But
we're-
I actually do remember now. I do remember now.
okay,
It's been a while, as you said. It was mailed to the wrong address. It was not being mailed to my address, 4248 Parkside Avenue. That's why I didn't get it. I didn't get it till way later.
okay, what does way later mean?
The day I got it, I came downtown to take care of it. That's immediately. And I spoke to the lady down in the MSB building.
Okay, let's
Basement
just for a moment, let's go look at the documents themselves. Okay, Mr. Johnson, would you walk us through the documents you have on the screen, please?
Yeah, what I'm showing right now is a copy of the appeal petition for the violation for 4248 Parkside Avenue in Philadelphia. Indicates that it was dated March 19th, 2024, received by the board on March 19th, 2024. And attached is a copy of the notice of violation that was appealed dated 12/9 of 2023.
Okay, now, before you move off that, just for a moment, Mr. Brame, is that your mailing address on Franklin Town Boulevard?
Sir, I haven't lived there in 20 years.
Well, have you changed your address?
I thought I had changed it to 4248 Parkside Avenue when I moved there. I assumed all the information would go there. But yeah, I haven't lived at 1 Franklin Town Boulevard. I haven't lived there in over 20 years.
Okay, all right, Mr. Johnson, anything, please continue.
Well, the city's position here is that this is the address, 1 Franklin Town Boulevard, apartment 1610.
Sir, I'm not.
That the city
Wait,
has,
this is an
according to
argument.
the Office of the Property Assessment, the OPA. So I believe normally that's given when the property is first transferred to the owner, James Brame, it would have been given as the official address at that time.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, Mr. Brame, I do have a question of you. did the notice eventually come to your Parkside location?
No, sir.
So where did you collect the mail from?
From 4922 Westminster Avenue.
Chair, excuse me, this is the court reporter. Could I please ask the witness to get closer to the microphone?
Yeah, you have to have it almost, you have to have it directly in your, yeah, that should help. Okay, now where did you retrieve the mail from?
From 4922 Westminster Avenue. Again, I don't know how it's even
Okay, let's go
possible
through this. Let's
that-
go through this.
yeah, I have
How did you
printed out-
happen to retrieve it from that location? Someone call you? How did you happen to
That
know
was
it was
my,
there?
that was my previous address. I used to live there.
You lived there before, after you lived in Center City?
I lived there when I purchased Parkside.
And
I've
bef-
lived, how that is even possible. I
No,
haven't
no, no,
lived
so
there anything
let's,
to do with that other
no, no,
address
no.
For years.
Excuse me, Ms. Brain, let's just logically follow. We have a series of questions we need to ask you, okay? So you were living, where were you living at the time that you purchased Parkside?
4922 Westminster Avenue.
And where were you living before that?
Before that, I've been there for like 20 years. So before that, it's Parkside Avenue. I mean, the other address on 1 Franklin Town.
Okay. So there were at least two addresses prior to Parkside Avenue.
Yes, but that other address, I've never
Okay,
signed any
understood.
document in 20 years with that address.
Okay,
I don't even know.
so did the property, the mail eventually find you at 42?
No,
Parkside?
I did not. And when I communicated with LNI, I told them, do not send anything to any other address other than 4248 Parkside Avenue.
You submitted a formal address change on
Yes.
LNI website, et cetera?
In person.
In person?
In person.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to stipulate, the department, I can't testify in the matter, but I will say that address, the Franklin Town, was not the one submitted on the deed. As he stated, that was the Westminster address that was submitted on the deed.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, we will, are there any additional questions?
Yeah,
No.
excuse me, I have one.
Yeah.
When did you move to Parkside?
Like 3 years ago.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We will now pull the board on HA 2024-001. Yes,
I believe there may have been other NOVs that were sent out here to multiple addresses.
okay.
If I could just take a look, hold on
Sure.
1 second.
What is it? NOV.
Notice of violation.
So there was one that was sent to 4922 Westminster, as well as that Franklin Town.
Okay, for
So I
this
can
violation
show
or a
that-
different violation?
Yeah, this was, there were two NOVs that were sent out. Can you see the one I'm showing right now? This
Yes.
was sent out the same date, 12/9/2023 to 4922 Westminster Ave.
Okay, okay, so essentially, the mail had not caught up to his 248 Parkside Avenue address.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Alrighty, let's just, if there's no additional information, we will pull the board on HA 2024-001052, 4248 Parkside Avenue, James Brame, request for non-proton relief to file a late appeal granted.
Appeal granted.
Appeal granted.
Appeal granted.
Okay, Mr. Brame, we're gonna grant your request to submit a late appeal. Now we can go on to hear your case. Okay? All righty. Mr. Johnson, you have a witness you want me to swear?
Yes, the city is going to call Inspector Brian Conaway.
Okay, Mr. Conaway?
Yes, how are you?
Okay, Mr. Conaway, yep. I'm not seeing him for some reason.
It's on the second page.
Oh,
In the middle.
for some reason, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Inspector Conaway, can you please tell us where you're employed?
City of Philadelphia, Department of License and Inspection.
And what is your position with the department?
Code enforcement, currently supervisor of business compliance.
And how long have you been an inspector with the department?
8.5 years.
Are you familiar with the property at 4248 Parkside Avenue?
I am.
And can you describe the property for the board?
The property is a multifamily dwelling, 3 stories high. And it was vacant at the time of, appeared to be vacant at the time of inspection.
Okay. At this point in time, I'd like to share my screen, if it please the board.
Yes, please.
I'm now sharing a document that is marked as the Exhibit A of the city. What is this document?
It's a notice of violation, order to correct.
And what was the date that the inspection occurred for this violation?
December 9th, 2023.
And what were the violations that were written?
One was to provide window glazing in the basement window. Another was to obtain a vacant structure license. Go up. Have the fire alarm certified by a licensed contractor.
Anything else?
To vacant structure premises. All premises shall be clean. Remain in the clean and safe condition.
And were you the inspector who performed the initial inspection?
I am.
Okay, and I'm now going to move on to what's marked as Exhibit B. Can you tell us what Exhibit B is?
That's the structure, 4248 Parkside Avenue.
And can you tell us like what were the violations that were indicated that you can view in this first photograph?
One was for the basement window. You can see that it's boarded at the time of inspection. The other was for a vacant property license, a vacant structure, and for a fire alarm system to be certified.
Okay. Can you tell us, have any of the violations been complied as of the most recent inspection?
Did an inspection yesterday, and the basement window now has glazing. Yes.
So the basement window's fixed?
Correct.
What about a vacant property license?
No license, no fire alarm certification on file.
I'm sorry, this is the court reporter. There was a bit of interference. Could I ask the witness to repeat that answer?
There is no vacant property license or fire alarm certification on file for the property.
And this next photograph in Exhibit B, when was this taken?
December 7th, 2023. Excuse me, I'm in court. I'm in court.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
So this was the initial inspection?
Yes.
And
hello? Hello?
Mr. Conaway, is that someone in your area?
No, it's not.
Okay, let's mute whoever that other person is.
And as you had indicated, was the window boarded up?
At the time of the initial inspection, yes.
How did you know that there was no occupants?
Well, the building is zoned as a 6-unit structure. The last active rentals license on it was expired in 2013. And once again, it appeared to be vacant.
And also, can you tell us about the fire alarm certification? How did you, when was the last time the fire alarm was certified?
Give me a minute, I'll look that up for you. I don't want to.
And
Yes, I had it.
And could you just describe, like, is that a process where the certification gets uploaded to Eclipse?
Yes, annually.
So for a 6-unit dwelling, they have to certify the fire alarm annually?
Well, at that particular time, that structure would have had to have had a fire alarm system installed, so that, yes, it needed to be certified annually.
And does it still need certification even though it's vacant?
Yes,
Is this property an attached structure? Do you
yes, it
recall?
is.
Yeah.
It is attached to another unit, yes.
I'm gonna scroll down and tell you to take a look for a second. Well, actually, I'm gonna ask the board to take judicial notice. Exhibit C is
So-
the appeal petition that was filed. Go ahead, Inspector.
I'm looking at the fire alarm certification now. It looks like that system has been certified as of yesterday, February 24th, 2025.
And have you checked to see if a rental or a vacant property license has been obtained since yesterday?
I have, there is no license on the property. So it
Okay.
looked like the system was tested December 19, 2024. But it was just uploaded yesterday.
So the fire alarm cert can be complied?
It can be, yes.
Okay. So are there any remaining violations?
The vacant property license.
And what about the last one that was clean and free of trash?
But that's associated with the license.
Okay, so with the license, that would comply everything.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna ask that city exhibits A, B, and C be admitted to the record.
So moved.
Okay.
Okay, any additional questions for, well, Mr. Brame, do you have any questions for the inspector?
Yes, sir.
Please speak directly into the microphone.
Yes, sir. I saw the inspector out there yesterday.
Okay, now make sure that you frame it as a question.
Okay. Did you ask me if the property was occupied
I
yesterday?
did. I
And
did.
And I replied yes.
Correct.
Thank you. Any additional questions from the board?
Yes, Mr. Conway, a question. As of today, does the property at 4248 Parkside have a vacant license or a rental property license currently?
No, it
I
does
don't.
not.
Thank you.
Can I ask a redirect question?
Yes, please.
You were asked on cross, regarding occupancy of the property. Were you informed as to who was living in the property, Mr. Conaway?
No, I wasn't.
Did you ask if it was being rented or owner occupied?
I did not.
So how would they need to comply it?
They would need to obtain a license on the property.
So what,
So once again, the property is zoned for 6 units.
right?
So I don't know. I mean, you said that it's not vacant, that someone is living in the property. Do we have all 6 units occupied?
Well, and could you explain, like, if say 3 units out of 6 were occupied, what would you need to do?
Still need a vacant property license for the rest of the unit.
Okay. And if the 3 were being rented, he would need a rental license for that many units?
That's correct.
All right. I have nothing further.
Okay.
Sorry, Inspector Conway, I just have a question. When you first did your initial inspection,
You know what? I'm gonna get that.
Oh, just one moment. We're getting some background from someone.
Yes.
I'm sorry. This is the court reporter. I'm sorry. I did not hear Ms. Penn's question.
Yes, I interrupt because I believe, Mr. Conway, you're still getting some noise from the area, so. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay, Ms. Penn?
Inspector Conway, when you did the initial inspection, did you attempt to, did you knock on the door or see if anybody was present at the time of the inspection?
I did not, yes.
And no one answered to your knock?
No one answered.
And when did you re-inspect the property?
Get the case filed. Reinspection was done February, the initial December 7th. Another one was done February 27th of 24. And then another one yesterday, February 24th of 2025.
And was yesterday the first time that you were informed the property was occupied?
I had a conversation, via phone conversation, I guess with the owner about a year or so ago, and he told me that he was living in a property. Once again, I expressed to him that the property was zoned for six units. If he was living in one of them, he still had to either get licenses or get license for the rest of the units.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if there are no additional questions for Mr. Conaway, just, Mr. Johnson, do you have any additional witness?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Brame, it's your opportunity to tell us what you understand about the facts of this case.
Okay, yes. May I ask another question for Inspector Conway?
Yes.
Yep. What prompted you to visit the property in the first place, sir?
The Department of License Inspection has a program inspection where at that particular time, we were doing inspections on all vacant properties, commercial, and so forth. It was a program inspection that prompted me to come out to the property.
Did you notice a vehicle parked in the driveway and trash cans there?
I did.
Yeah, well,
Okay, all right, now it's your turn to share with us why you believe the property is not vacant.
well, because I live there, sir. I have a driver's license with that address on it. and
Okay.
I live in the property.
Just one thing I want to say to you. None of us here know anything about that location unless we're told about it by you or the city. So your job, because this is your appeal, is to convince us that you're right. So whatever evidence you want to put on the record, please share that with us. And so that we will understand and have a reason to render a decision. Okay, so in addition, what else are you going to share with us?
Well, I'd like to show you my driver's license.
Okay, now the only problem is that written evidence should have been shared with the city prior to the hearing. And so what we will do,
I would
hold that aside just for a moment.
I would say that I don't need to see his driver license. I would like to ask some questions about it, the property though.
Okay. Are you prepared? Before you do that, Mr. Johnson, I want Mr. Brame to continue to, in addition to your driver's license, what other evidence do you have that you live there?
My bills come there.
Speaking to the microphone.
All my bills go there and I live there. That's where I live.
How long have you lived there?
I've lived there for about 3 years.
Okay. Are any of the other units in the building occupied?
No, sir.
Do you have any plans to rent those other units?
Eventually, yes, sir.
Okay.
My financials up to a point that I can get the work done.
Okay. Which unit are you residing? Is that the first floor, second floor, third floor? Where are you?
Pretty much, I live in the first floor rear and pretty much the first floor, but I have stuff. I do construction work and things like that, so I'm throughout the whole building, really.
Okay. Now, do you have utilities turned on? Your light?
Yes, sir.
The electric,
Yes, sir.
water,
Yes, sir.
gas?
No, I have no gas. No gas.
No gas, just electric and water.
Yes, sir.
You have regular trash pickup?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, do you have any cross-examination?
Mr. Brame, did you bring any of the utility bills with you?
I did not bring any utility bills with me. There is an ongoing situation with my meter. I did bring that where they requested the meter.
Which
to be
meter?
Updated, the water meter. And so that I have an appointment for, I had an appointment earlier back in January. However, the connections were the wrong size for the meter that the gentleman had for that from the water company. So he requested that I go and get the proper size, which is 1.5 or a 1-inch connectors for the thing. So
So
I've
the
done
meter
that.
wasn't reading the water usage?
Correct.
So it would show 0 usage.
Yes, they've been estimating is what they've been doing. So I do have something saying that they're estimating the bill. 3 estimated bills in a row. So this is what this is from.
You heard the testimony of Inspector Conaway, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you would need to get a vacant property license for the units that are not occupied, correct?
Well, I would hope to figure that out today. I heard what he said. If that's true, I'll have to get a vacant property for the people, for what? I'd have to figure out how I do that. Because I have stuff I'm living in the whole building, so. I
Well,
don't understand
and
why I
that's
have
that's
to-
one of my questions. Is your intention to convert it to a property other than
Yes,
6
eventually I'll
units?
eventually I will have to get.
Mr. Bram, I'm going to interrupt and ask you to please wait until the attorney finishes his question before you respond, because the recording can't be made.
Yes, ma'am.
You're going to convert it to something other than 6 units?
No, sir. I'm going to leave it as 6 units, possibly less than 6 units.
Okay.
I mean, it's not
So-
conversion. It was set up as 6 units. So I may not put all 6 units back in it. It may do the 3rd floor as one big unit. So
Right.
I don't know yet. So
So
but
one
as
big
of this
unit would
moment-
mean you're combining 2 units into one, correct?
Yes, sir. That's a possibility.
And that would
Something I
make it
thought about.
5 units, correct?
Yes, sir.
And just to be clear, you would be obtaining a new use permit for 5 units at that point, correct?
Yes, sir. If that's the final idea that I want to
All
put
right.
forth.
I have no more questions.
Any further questions of Mr. Bram?
Yes, I do. Mr. Bram, you testified earlier that you lived on the first floor rear and basically the entire first floor. And then you just recently testified that you kind of sort of live all over the building. So I'm trying to clarify, which is it?
I have things stored all over the building.
I-
So
did I
that's,
see
I
where-
mean, I'm up and down. I travel throughout the whole building.
I'm just
guess
emailing
that's
the
what
work
I
now.
mean. I don't have everything like, everything I have isn't
Well,
just on the
it's-
first floor, and I don't just stay. in
I know,
this
but we're
part
sending
of the
somebody out
building.
anyway, just for the
In
whole,
whole-
that's all.
in the whole
We're doing it.
building.
I'm sorry.
Okay, wait a minute. We're still getting this noise, this background noise. Thank you.
So the first floor is where you first stated you lived in, and now you're saying you have items stored all over the building. So you're using the other portions of the building for storage. But you don't live there. There's a difference between storage and living.
I'm not sure what that difference would be. I'm just saying I'm travel throughout the whole building. It's not one day that I just stay in my one little part like I'm a renter. I own the building, so I travel throughout the whole building. I utilize the whole building. I have some of my belongings in this room. I have some tools in this other room. So that's what I meant. It's not trying to be shady or anything. I'm just giving you the real information.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there are no further questions, thank you. Alrighty, Mr. Brame, anything else you want to add before we vote on your case?
Well, yes. Yeah, because they were saying that the property's not occupied, and my money is tight. I don't have money just to say $300. $300 is a lot to me at this moment. I'll get it together sooner or later, but right now things ebb and flow. Right now things are a little tight. So I don't want those bills put on me to me for no reason.
Okay.
The fire alarm was working, has always been in there, so I got it updated by an inspector. I do live there in the building. If people don't like that I'm living there, I don't know. Again, I don't know what program and the inspector's talking about, but every time I spoke to someone down there to ask as to why they're picking on my property, because quite frankly, just about 90% of all those buildings there, the front lower window is blocked off because they don't want people breaking in. The window was always there. I just had it covered up in the front so people don't break in. So why he's there particularly, and I know I'm very involved in that neighborhood. I'm part of the CDC, very active in the CDC. If you look at today's pictures versus the picture there, the outside of my building is absolutely beautiful. The lawn is always kept. The front spindles that you saw in that picture weren't painted, are painted. The whole complete front is painted. I keep that whole neighborhood, everybody around me space clean and tidy. So I'm a good neighbor and always have been.
Okay.
Whatever neighborhood I'm in.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, any final argument?
Just briefly, I think based on the testimony of both the appellant and the city's witness, it's clear that there's still a violation with regard to the use of the unoccupied units, whether it be vacant or used for storage. He needs to get the proper license for those unoccupied units. I know that it was written because the prior use, it was had rental license for 6 units, and no rental license had been obtained at this property for nearly a decade or more than a decade. And so they need to make sure that they update the use with the city, and it assists the city, it assists with fire response to know who's in the building, how many units are occupied in the case of a fire. And to that end, I don't think the city would object to 30 days to comply, so it's stay of enforcement of 30 days.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, just one moment. We'll go off the record before we vote. Record? Okay, we're prepared to vote on HA 2024-001052, 4248 Parkside Avenue, James Brame. Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Mr. Brame, you won your appeal.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good afternoon.
Thank you, board.
Okay, let's move on to the next matter. Mr. Johnson, your witnesses are excused.
Thank you.
Mr. Woodson, Mr. Rulo has indicated he has an agreement to read into the record.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Rulo?
Yes, good afternoon. This is concerning number 7, appeal ending 000893 2848 South 17th Street. Mr. Peter Coppola. As of a couple minutes ago, Mr. Coppola was back on the call. Mr. Coppola, are you here?
Well, either way, can you represent the settlement?
I would feel a lot more comfortable if we got it on the record. I will
Okay.
give him a call again. He seems to be disconnecting. I know that he is having some technology challenges.
Okay.
I could attempt to call him.
Well, let's do this
He
because
was
you don't
muted.
have it in writing yet, correct?
No,
Let's continue the matter, and if you,
it involves a cease operations.
oh, it does?
And even if this was in writing, I would want it to have it all very clear in the record. There he is.
Michael,
Yes, sir, your name, please?
Peter Capola.
Peter Capolo. Okay, and you don't have the ability to give us a video, correct?
My phone is incapable of that. I'm here working by myself.
Okay, you say your phone doesn't have video feature?
No, sir.
Okay, well, let's do this because we need you to put something on the record. Do you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth so help you God?
I do.
And you're in fact, Mr. Peter Coppola, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All righty, the city will read in the agreement. We need you to affirm the city's position.
As I indicated to the board, I do want to have this very specific and clear for the record. I have 4 questions for the city's witness, and then I just want to confirm the terms of that agreement with the inspector. Again, I would just want to make
Okay,
every-
who's your city's witness?
Inspector Percy Riggs,
Is that Griggs or Riggs?
RIGGS.
Okay, Riggs. Is he present? Mr. Riggs? Okay, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn, Mr. Riggs? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rulo?
Inspector Riggs, are you familiar with the property located at 24, excuse me, let me just get the address right.
sorry,
2840. Are you familiar with the property located at 2848 South 17th Street?
Yes.
Okay. And have you conducted inspections there?
Yes.
And the violations at that property include lack of a food license and lack of a scales and scanners license, correct?
Correct.
And the property is operating as a deli, correct?
Correct.
And it has not had either of those licenses since 2015.
Correct.
And there is a cease operations order that the city has issued, correct?
Correct.
And as of your most recent inspection, the property is still operating as a deli.
Correct.
That does it for my questions. If I could now turn to Mr. Coppola just to get those facts on the record.
Okay, but we need to give Mr. Coppola an opportunity to cross-examine your witness since you put him on the record. Mr. Coppola, do you have any questions of Mr. Riggs, the inspector?
No, I will say though, he's always been a complete gentleman.
No, sir.
Appreciate it.
I just do you have any questions of him? Because if you don't have any questions.
Oh,
then
no,
Okay,
no, sir.
thank you. Okay, Mr. Rulo?
Okay, Mr. Coppola, we had a chance to speak earlier, is that right?
Yes,
And we discussed that you could proceed with a full hearing today or reach an agreement with the city, is that right?
yes, sir.
And we discussed an agreement where there was going to be what's called a city affirm, meaning you admit that the property doesn't have the licenses right now, but we would give you 30 days to go and get those licenses. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you understand that if you don't get those licenses within the 30 days, L&I could cease the business, meaning would not be allowed to operate until those licenses are obtained. Is that correct?
correct.
And you still agree to enter into enter into this agreement with those terms, is that right?
I did ask you if they would give me an extension on the amount of days. I'm going through a serious family and financial situation.
But I said that we couldn't do that, so it was only going to be 30 days, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you agree to that?
yes.
Anything further?
No, I would just ask that in the decision letter that it be clear that it was by agreement for 30 days. I just forget if procedurally we make that
Sure.
clear on the
So there's
decision.
agreement, city affirm with 30-day
Stay of
stay
enforcement.
of enforcement. Okay, so that would be the nature of the settlement. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Coppola, you're excused.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, what's that next matter?
I believe that brings us back to the top of the list, sir.
Okay,
That's hearing appeal ending 07434926 Olive Street. Abdul Halimi is the appellant.
okay, who's handling this for the city?
Good afternoon, Mari Aquino for the city, AQUINO.
Good afternoon. Mr. Abdul Halimi.
Yep.
Sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Aquino, do you have any witnesses?
I do, Mr. Chairman, but actually, following a conversation in the breakout room, we were able to reach an agreement, and I can read that into the record.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So that's number one on today's case, appeal ending 000743, 4926 Olive Street, appellant Abdul Halimi. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a 30-day stay of enforcement.
30-day stay. Mr. Halimi, do you concur with that position?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. The record will reflect the agreement, 30-day stay of enforcement, city affirm.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
have a good afternoon.
You too.
Okay, thank you.
So that brings us to item number 2 on the list, hearing
Two.
appeal ending 07573028 North Water Street. Santiago Mendoza is the appellant.
Okay, who's representing the city? Oh, Mr. Fernandez. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members of the board. Will Fernandez for the City of Philadelphia, FERNANDEZ.
Okay, Santiago Mendoza. Santiago Mendoza.
There's no one with that name in the waiting room, sir.
Okay, confirm service, please.
Yes, sir. The appellant listed 3028 North Water Street as their address in the appeal. Notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on 1/16/25.
Thank you. No response, Mr. Fernandez, your pleasure.
Hearing no response, the city respectfully requests that the board dismiss this appeal for failure to appear.
Thank you. Mr. Petty, what time do we have?
2:12 PM.
2:12 PM. Thank you. We'll pull the board on HA 2024-000757-3028 North Water Street, Santiago Mendoza, City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board. I have 2 cases left in the list, but they're further down, so I'm going to head back to my office. It's been very nice seeing
Okay.
all of you.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
afternoon.
Commissioner, can I jump in for a second? My name is David Denenberg.
Well, which matter are you referencing, sir?
That's what I'm trying to find out. If I gave you the HA number, just to know what number I am.
Let's see here. We have one matter that your name is listed with, 2524 West Thompson Street. Is that your case?
That's correct.
That matter was read into the record as moot.
Okay, then I'll cut out.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Rolo, what do we have next?
I believe that brings us to matter number 4, sir. That's a hearing appeal ending 0789-7425 Brockton Road, Brian Rhodes. Mr. Rhodes was present earlier, but I don't see him any longer.
Okay,
They may still be in a breakout room.
yes, let's pass that one and move
All
on.
right, sir. The next item is going to be number 6 on today's list, hearing appeal ending 0892-209 West Clapier Street. Joel Forschenheimer.
Hi, this is Chris Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, do we have Joel Forschenheimer present?
I did not see him on the call.
Okay, let's confirm service.
Appellants listed P.O. Box 1191 Jackson, New Jersey on their appeal. Notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on 1/16/25.
Okay, what time do we have, Mr. Pincus? I'm sorry, Mr. Pettit.
2:14 PM.
2:14 PM. What's your pleasure, Mr. Johnson?
The city respectfully requests that it be dismissed for failure to appear.
We will pull the board, HA 2024-000892, 209 West Clapier Street, Joel Forschheimer, Forchheimer, City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brings us, sir, to number 9 on the list, 847 East Stafford, hearing appeal ending 0895. Lawrence Federigo.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Lee Bagelman for the city.
Mr. Bagelman, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, is anyone present representing Federigo Florence? My apologies, I'll spell that name, Fadergao Florence. Anyone present? Anyone present representing 847 East Stafford Street? No one's responding? Anyone in the waiting room, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, please confirm service.
Appellants have listed 4611 Fernhill Road in Philadelphia as their address. Notice of this hearing was sent to that same address on 1/16/25, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Petty, what time do you have?
2:16 PM.
2:16 PM. Mr. Bagelman, what is your pleasure?
City requests that the violation be affirmed for failure to appear.
Thank you. Alrighty, HA 2024-000895, 847 East Stafford Street, Federigo Florence, City affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
Okay,
Calling your attention, sir, to item 10 on the list, hearing appeal ending 0938, 1965 Pratt Street. Marisol Ramos is the appellant.
okay, who's representing the city?
It's Christopher Johnson from the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, Marisol Ramos.
She's present in the room.
Present.
Okay. Ma'am, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? The other right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, before we continue, Ms. Ramos, what is your relationship to this property on Pratt Street?
I am the owner.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else's name on the deed?
My wife.
Okay, and you're entitled, as husband, as wife, as a married couple on the deed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Johnson, do you have any witnesses today?
The city has one witness in the matter. It is Martin Higgins.
Okay, Mr. Higgins?
Yes.
Just give us your video, Mr. Higgins.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm on video.
raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Higgins, can you please tell us where you're employed?
I am with the City of Philadelphia Community Life Improvement Program.
Okay, we're getting background noise. Mr. Higgins, is that in your office?
Yes.
So if you could ask your colleagues to either that, calm down, or if you could go to a more secure place.
It appears that Mr. Higgins is going to find a more private location.
Okay, thank you. We'll go off the record for 5 minutes. Johnson, I think you're back on the record, so I guess please proceed.
Yeah, Inspector Higgins, what is your position with the Community Life Improvement Program?
I'm a code administrator.
Okay. Have you had a chance to review the city's records with regard to 1965 Pratt Street?
Yes.
And could you tell us, I'm gonna share what's marked as Exhibit A right now. Can you see the document that's on screen?
Yes.
This is marked as city's Exhibit A. What is this document?
It's a violation notice in order to correct.
And what was the violation that was written on this notice?
It was cited for trash.
And are you aware of the location of the trash on the property?
Yes, in the rear.
Okay. And what was the date that this was cited for that violation?
It's February 29th, 2024.
And was this sent to the owner at the address of the property?
Yes.
And I'm showing now what's marked as City Exhibit B. What is this photograph?
That would be the rear of 1965 Pratt Street.
And can you tell what's visible in the photograph?
Yes, an accumulation of trash.
Can you just briefly describe the trash for the record?
It's mixture of household trash and personal items.
Are you aware, was this a photograph taken at the time of the initial inspection?
Yes.
And was that then made part of the city's records that are stored as part of the violation case in the normal course of the city's business?
Yes.
And Exhibit C, what is Exhibit C?
This looks like a photo that was taken either prior I'm sorry, this would be the re-inspection photo of the property where the violation wasn't complied.
And that was taken how long later?
It appears to be March 15th, 2024 at 10:41 a.m.
So that would be over 2 weeks after February 29th, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And I have a third photo. What is this photograph?
It would be a picture after the crews performed the work at the property.
And when you say the crews performed the work, who performed the work?
The Community Life Improvement Program.
Okay. And so they went out and cleaned up the trash on March 15th. Is that right?
That is correct.
And I'm now showing what's marked as Exhibit D, and let the record reflect that's a copy of the appeal petition that was filed by the appellant. And just so we're clear, Inspector Higgins or Code Administrator Higgins, is trash stored on the property in such a manner, is that a violation of the code?
Yes, it is.
Are you aware how the city became aware of the violation?
I believe this came as a complaint into the office.
I'm going to ask that exhibits A, B, C, and D be admitted to the record at this time.
So admitted.
And I have nothing further.
Okay. Ma'am, Ms. Ramos, do you have any questions for the inspector based on his testimony?
So my only question is like, why the assumption that the trash belonged to my property?
Okay, Mr. Higgins.
So when we received the complaint came in for your address specifically.
I'll ask a follow-up question unless Mr. Johnson has a redirect.
I'm going to ask just Mr. Higgins, when the city issues a violation, is it the property that's in violation or is it the owner?
It's the property that's in violation. We cite properties.
And was all of that trash on that property?
Yes,
And therefore the property itself was in violation, is that right?
that is correct.
Does it matter if the trash belongs to the owner of the property?
No, it does not.
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Ramos, your opportunity to share your understanding of what's happening.
So if I can just say, that's been an ongoing problem since I moved here in 2017.
What is an ongoing problem? So you need to lay it out for it.
People dumping trash in the back, because I have two houses that are right behind mine that people always move in and out all the time. And every time they move out, they dump the trash there. I have email records going back to 2018 with Philly 311 about this problem, all the way up to 2021. The last thing I got was they saying that because it was in the back alleyway, it was like all the neighbors' responsibility to clean it. But then my thing is like the trash is not even mine. So like if I got that notice, then everybody in the rear should have gotten the notice also, because I have two houses right behind mine, and you can even see the conditions of their backyard, and it will tell you more of like the trash dumping back there.
Okay. Any
Could I ask
cross-examination?
Could I ask one more question from the Inspector Higgins?
Well, before you do that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna complete this so we don't cloud the record. Any cross-examination or follow-up questions for Ms. Ramos?
No.
Okay, Ms. Ramos, the location of the trash in the photos, is that your rear yard?
I mean, it's shared between me and like
No. Listen to my question, because every property has a very specific property line. Was the trash on your property?
I have to tell you, I don't know. I don't know to where
You don't know where your property ends or begins? You don't? Do you know if it was considered the public right of way or alley?
I wouldn't know how to explain it. It's just like the back alleyway.
Okay, is there a fence that separates your backyard from the neighbors behind you?
Yes.
There is. Was the property on was the trash on your side of the fence?
It's piled up there.
Well, I'm asking because I'm asking you, it was the trash on your side of the fence, yes or no?
It was right in the middle. So it's like, it was in the middle. It was all piled up in the middle.
In the middle, meaning between the two properties?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, anything else?
I would ask Mr. Higgins. And just one question for Ms. Ramos first. Ms. Ramos, I'm going to share what's marked as City Exhibit B one more time. And just to be clear, there's a shed at the rear of this property. That is your shed, correct?
No.
No?
No.
Do you have?
Excuse me, Mr. Johnson.
So that
Excuse me,
that
Mr.
is not your
Johnson.
property?
But Mr. Johnson, wait a minute, Ms. Penn has a question for.
I apologize for interrupting, but your picture on the screen. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm corrected. On my computer, I couldn't see the whole picture. It's clear on the screen. My apologies.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Oh, but Mr. Johnson, leave that photo up. Now, between I guess this is to either Mr. Higgins or, actually, let me ask Mr. Higgins. Mr. Higgins, where the pile of trash ends and that structure begins, is there a alleyway between that pile and the structure?
So if I'm permitted to, I could share my screen to show you the parcel lines for 1965 Pratt Street.
Okay, wait a minute, Mr.
And-
Johnson, he's your witness.
Yeah, I would like him to share the parcel lines. I'll stop sharing my photograph and he
Okay,
can share
thank
his
you.
photograph.
So what you're seeing here is Atlas. It's the city's mapping system.
Yes,
You'll notice that I've highlighted 1965. And you see that the depth of the property goes and extends past the shed up to the abutting property on what I will believe would be,
okay, one moment.
I
Okay,
can,
yes, so can you represent where the trash roughly was deposited on the property?
so where the hand is, would
Yes,
be where the trash was.
okay, and where is that building that we see in the photo?
It's covered by the tree.
Okay. And so the property line, the property lines abut one another.
Correct.
And so there's no public alleyway or easement between the properties.
Not at 1965, but if you go above 1965, that's when the alleyway picks up.
Okay,
You'll see the easement up in here.
yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. Well, leave that up for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
Leave that up.
Could I ask Mr. Higgins one more question?
Yes.
Code Administrator Higgins, what was the violation complied in the department's records after the cleanup?
Yes, what we did was bill for the work that the city did.
So that the violation, as we sit here today, is complied, correct?
Yes.
How did the city's workers access the rear of the yard?
Well, as you can see, I believe this might be Dittman Street. I'm trying to scroll down a little bit.
So where that vehicle is parked, is that a public right of way?
Yes, you can see where it starts down in here.
Okay, so that spot on the other side of those fences from the picture in Exhibit B would be a public right of way?
Yes.
I have nothing else.
Oh, so there are public right of ways on either side of this address.
So As you see, 1965 extends back into where what would be that alleyway right here. So there
Yes.
wouldn't be access
Okay,
from there. However, the crews went off of, I think it's Dittman Street, if I'm not mistaken,
okay.
and gained access right in here where there's an opening.
But I guess the question is that access also ends at this 1965.
That is correct.
So it doesn't go all the way through and connect according to the
No, it
property lines.
no, it does not.
Yeah, just
Mr. Higgins, I'm sorry, I just don't understand how your crew was able to access the rear of 1965 if Dittman ends at the property line. Is there a fence there?
No, so if you'll notice where my hand is,
Yeah.
I'm going to do something that'll just give you a better view of what I'm trying to talk about. I'm going to zoom in here. You'll see that this public access is open for an inspector to traverse, as well as the crews.
No, I understand that. I think from the atlas where I'm looking at the property line, I'm just trying to be clear. Does Dittman go all the way up to and onto 1965?
Oh, no, it does not. This is just an unaddressed tract of land here.
Okay, so where that car is there a dead end at 1965?
Yes,
So can you tell me, please, how your crew accessed the rear of 1965?
they went through the opening at Dittman Street to the alleyway.
I want to, can I clarify something for the board for
Please.
Ms. Penn? And just scroll up so we can see 1965, Mr. Higgins. When we were showing Exhibit B, is it fair to say that the wooden fence behind the shed is between the house on 1965 and the shed?
Yes,
So the owners in 1965 have a fence in between them and the part of where the lot extends to. Is that right?
that is correct.
Does that help the board? The
I thought my
photograph
question
of
was
the,
I thought my question was pretty clear, Mr. Johnson. Excuse me for interrupting. Was how did you access the property if there is a fence there?
well, that was there. The testimony indicates there is no fence between the alleyway and the part where the trash was. The fence is between the part where the trash was and the house at 1965.
And so is it his testimony that a portion of the property is not fenced in, a portion that she owns, but is not fenced in?
Correct.
Ah, okay.
So the property then is open, there's open access from Dittman as well as from the alleyway. Is that accurate?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ramos, did you know that you owned that space where the dumping occurred?
I did not.
Okay, how long have you owned that property?
I've been here since 2017.
Okay. Yeah, okay. You may need to seek some advice on that. Because it appears from this that you and your wife own that portion of property that is unfenced and you are being, I guess, taken advantage of by people who do dumping.
Understand.
Okay, anything else from anyone?
Yes,
Oh,
Ms.
sorry.
Ramos, do you know who owns the shed?
No, I see people with like construction stuff. They come in and out all the time, like putting tools in there and stuff, but I don't even know who they are.
No, the shed is down.
And Mr. Higgins, that shed's on Ms. Ramos's property?
No, I think it starts like onto the next house next to me.
Okay.
I mean, Mr. Higgins, would it be fair to say, according to the city's records, the shed is on the appellant's property?
yes.
Before we move on, this photograph, Ms. Ramos, that white structure that we see behind the main building?
The white structure?
Yeah, the white roof we're looking at behind the main building.
That's a gazebo.
That's a gazebo. Oh, okay, so that is not the shed we saw in the previous photos.
No. That's a gazebo like in my backyard.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, anything from anyone else? Okay, if not, we will now prepare ourselves. Well, I'll ask this, Ms. Ramos, any closing comments you'd like to make before we vote?
No, but I did see I received the bill for the cleanup.
Okay. Okay.
And just to be clear, I would make it known that the city's position is the board does not have any jurisdiction over the bill for the cleanup. That would be with the tax review board. The only question here is whether there was a violation of the property or not.
Understand.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, any closing argument?
Unfortunately, the city's position here is that the property was in violation. The Community Life Improvement Program performed an abatement on the property and cleaned it up. It's not currently in violation, but that was a valid violation given the city's plan and the lot lines involved.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now poll the board on HA 2024-000938, 1965 Pratt Street, Marisol Ramos, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Ms. Ramos, the city's position holds. You've lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. Should you need information as to how to do that, check with the administrator's office and they will provide whatever you need to appeal our decision. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. The witnesses are excused.
Mr. Woodson recalling case number 4 on today's list, hearing appeal ending 07897425 Brockton Road.
Good afternoon, Michelle Reinhardt for the City of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon.
Reinhart.
Mr. Brian Rhodes, is that you, sir? All right, thank you. You have something you want to read into the record, Ms. Maris? Ms. Reinhardt?
Yes, we have an agreement asking to mark the violation city affirmed with a 6-month stay of enforcement.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That's correct.
Okay, so city affirmed with 6 month stay of enforcement. That's what the record shall reflect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Same.
Mr. Woodson, if I can call your attention to item 25 on the list, hearing appeal ending 10231417 West Toronto Street.
Okay.
Major Ashlock.
Okay, Ashlock, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Will Fernandez for the City of Philadelphia.
Afternoon, Mr. Fernandez, Major Ashlock, Major
Yes.
Ashlock. Okay. Mr. Ashlock, if you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You can place your hand down. Mr. Ashlock, before we continue, what is your relationship to 1417 West Toronto Street?
I'm an owner.
Anyone else's name on the deed?
Yes, my lady, Shelley Clavis.
Okay, are you married?
Not in your eyes, no.
Well, I'm not sure what that means.
That means,
No.
no,
Major.
not
Okay. All right, just
statewide,
one moment.
state,
Okay.
Do you have a common law marriage?
no.
Okay. Well, Mr. Fernandez, what is your position in issue in terms of standing?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. The notice of violation in question here was issued to both Major Ashlock and Shelley Clavis. And so
Okay.
the city has no objection with respect to the standing of Mr. Ashlock to proceed in his appeal.
Okay, Mr. Ashlock, is Shelley Clavis near you or there?
Yeah, she's here. She's next to me.
We just had a newborn.
Okay, wait. We can only have one person speaking on the record because it's being recorded by a court reporter. And so let's do this. I've sworn you in, Mr. Ashlock, and I'd like to swear in Ms. Shelley Clavis and put her name on the record. And then you two will decide who will do the speaking for the hearing, okay?
All right.
So ma'am, if you raise your right hand and give us your name, then we will swear you in. Just put your name on the record, please.
Shelley Clavis,
Spell your last name, please.
C as in cat, L as in Larry, A as in Apple, V as in Victor, I, S as in Sam.
Okay, Clavis. All right, thank you very much. Ma'am, keep your hand up. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Now, what I'd ask you to do, whoever's speaking, that person alone should speak. Don't whisper in the background because we pick all that up and that creates a clouded record, okay? And
right.
so whoever's going to be the speaker has to be the only speaker. Now, you can answer questions separately, but when one person's speaking, no one else can sort of jump in and help with their answer, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fernandez, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, the city's witness in this matter is Inspector Royshay Johnson. Inspector Johnson, are
Johnson?
you in the room? I apologize. It doesn't seem that Inspector Johnson is here right now. If I can have a moment, I'll correspond with the coordinator for the LNI inspectors and find out what's going on. I apologize for the
Okay, let's do this.
inconvenience.
This is near the end of the list. So what we're going to do is go off the record for 5 minutes, allow Mr. Fernandez to locate his witness. Thank you very much for your patience, Mr. Ashlock. We'll be with you shortly, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Fernandez?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Inspector Johnson has just signed on to join us.
Okay, Inspector Johnson, if you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Inspector Johnson, you're muted. Please unmute.
You're still on mute, Inspector Johnson.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Please
Okay.
raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Before we proceed, Ms. Johnson, it appears that you're in a vehicle. Are you parked in a safe place?
Yes, I'm sitting at a charging station, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez?
Thank you. By way of introduction, this appeal involves the property located at 1417 West Toronto Street. Inspector Johnson is going to testify as to the notice of violation that was issued in February 2024. It includes 4 violations, essentially saying that the property is vacant, needs a vacant property license, that 2 windows for the basement at the front of the property need to be replaced, and then that the property needs to be maintained clean and free of debris or other trash. May I proceed to
Yes.
examining the, thank you. Good afternoon, Inspector Johnson. I'm going to share on the screen the evidence packet that
Excuse me,
prepared.
pardon me, this is the court reporter. May I have the witness's full name?
Yes, it's Inspector Royshay Johnson, Roysha. Last name Johnson, spelled the standard way without the T, Johnson.
Thank you.
Of course. Inspector Johnson, I'm putting the city exhibit packet up on the screen. I'm going to scroll down now to page 2 of the exhibit packet. Are you able to see and read the document on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, can you identify the document that we're looking at?
It's a violation notice in order to correct.
Okay, can you see the address to which it was issued?
1417 West Toronto Street.
Okay, and the date of the notice?
2/21/24.
Okay.
Excuse me, the date of the notice is 2/22/24.
Thank you, Inspector Johnson. Before I proceed to the actual violations at issue, I'm going to scroll down to page 6, which is Exhibit B in the evidence packet. Are you able to see the photograph depicted on the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, and who took this photograph?
That would be me.
Okay, and do you recall inspecting this property and taking this photograph?
As it states on the thing, yes. Yeah.
Okay, and the date stamp down here that says 2/21/2024, to the best of your knowledge, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna scroll back up now to the notice of violation, city exhibit page 2. What violations were issued to the property resulting from the inspection that you performed on February 21st, 2024?
Okay. Property was in need of a vacant license. The property should be maintained in a clean and safe manner. And two windows needed for the basement front.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll down now to the next page of the notice of violation, city exhibits page 3. Are there any other violations that were issued as a result of that inspection?
Yes, property shall be free of trash and debris.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge and recollection, do the violations that you just repeated, do those match the conditions that you observed in February of 2024 when you inspected the property?
According to the pictures, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll down to the picture again. Can you indicate, does this photograph reflect the basement windows that were referenced in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
Where the word Wednesday appears, I'm highlighting it on my screen right now. Is that a basement window?
That should be a basement window, yes, sir.
Okay, does it appear to have been closed in?
Yes.
Okay, and then over here behind where 21/2024 and February 21st, 2024 is that the other basement window?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you performed the inspection, how did you determine that the property was vacant?
When you go up, if you go up to it and the way the windows are, and you can see through the windows, well, at the time you can see through the windows, you can see that there was no one in the property.
Okay, looking at this photograph, it's not 100% clear to me right off the bat, but is that window boarded up or otherwise obscured?
It's obscured through on the interior, yes.
Okay. I have no further questions for the inspector at this time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ashcroft, Ashlock, do you have any questions for the inspector?
Yes, my initial thing when I got the violation was I thought it was the property that you see to the right.
Okay, Mr. Ashlock, do you have a question for her?
Did you notice any other buildings on that street with the basement windows cemented, closed?
I don't recall, sir. I was focused on this property in front, if that's the picture that I took.
Okay, did you notice unclean front property? Because I don't see any trash on this picture here.
Well, there's a little bit of the trash or just unkept property under the mailbox. You can see some flyers or filters. And if you look down at the bottom, you can see some type of trash or debris. So yeah, that would be a yes.
I clean that every, the
Okay, Mr.
the pizza.
Ashlock, you can make a statement later.
I'm sorry.
Make sure
Okay.
you get all the questions out. Anything else you want to ask?
No, not that I could think of right now. No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fernandez, any additional witnesses?
No additional witnesses, but I would just very briefly say for Mr. Ashlock's benefit, I would hope, obviously the conditions of a property can change significantly over the course of, almost 2 years. And so I will send an email requesting that Inspector Johnson go out and re-inspect this property to see if any of the violations have been cured since the time they were issued. I just want to clear that up so that Mr. Ashlock doesn't think that he's stuck with violations reflecting the time the violations were issued going forward.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ashlock, do you wish to put on any testimony today?
Well, my first thing was I went down to LNI to find out what it is that they meant by the violations so that I could correct the violations. I don't want to go correcting things and then I'm unsure of that they mean when they say basement windows. When I purchased the property, all this was closed off. And there were people living. Well, briefly, when I bought it, they put the person out because I requested to have the house empty. And so I'm just like, clean and unkept. The property in that picture that would be to your right, that property is no longer existent. That property was dangerous. It was very debris riddled out front. It had LNI violations, and since then they have tore that building down. So I thought initially they had the wrong address when they spoke of all these violations, and that's what initially sent me downtown to try and clear up the matter. And they said the only way that I could clear up the matter would be to come into some type of an appeal with you guys.
Okay. Did you speak with the inspector?
I was unable to speak to the inspector. They did not give me that option.
Okay, that person's name, just for future reference, that person's contact information should be on the violation notice itself.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us?
The property is usually clean and kept. If I'm not down there within I'm down there every week, but if I'm not down there, if I miss a week, then the pizza man, the mail carriers, they will dump a bunch of stuff in that mailbox. Every time I go down there, I'm taking handfuls of mail of numerous old tenants, I guess, from the old property. So if I don't go down there, there is a bunch of mail and it looks unkept, but the property is never any debris outside. It's never unsafe and it's always kept.
Now, you don't live at that address, correct?
No, I don't.
Okay, is that an investment property for you?
No, it will be a 3-family home that I need because I'm just growing my family now, as
Okay,
Shelley
so
just told you.
I just want to for the record, it's currently a vacant property.
It's currently, yes.
So that would suggest that you need to have a vacant property license for it.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, any cross-examination, Mr. Fernandez?
No cross-examination, Mr. Chairman. I would just tell the appellant that I am sending the email requesting a reinspection now. And so I would urge the appellant to make sure that in the next couple of days, the property is ready for reinspection so that hopefully the violations can be cured. The one violation that won't be resolved via reinspection is the vacant property license. So I would urge the appellant to look into acquiring the vacant property license ASAP.
Can I say something? What I was told at LNI was, since I was unsure of what I wanted to clear, basically an idea of what I had to do on a property, because the notice said to put things in order. That's pretty much what the notice was. And if you don't put it in order by a certain time, you will be charged these fines. So when I went to them, she assured me that once I was aware and I got a chance to have the things explained to me, that I will be given ample amount of time to make all corrections to the property. And that I wouldn't be, I didn't have to worry about being hassled about the property until this whole process was seen through.
Well, Mr. Asher, where we are today, this is a hearing process, a tribunal. So we don't negotiate resolutions or help you work through things. Our purpose here is to hear your appeal.
Okay.
Now, so we're going to make a decision based on what's been put before us. But I would also say to you that you or someone who represents you needs to make sure they read the code to know what's required of an investor who owns investment property in the city of Philadelphia. There's a whole lot of rules and regulations you need to follow. Make sure you're following those rules and regulations, okay? So we're not the group to tell you that. You need to do it yourself or work with a professional who understands that.
How is it determined that it's an investment property? Because
You don't live there.
Right. I don't live
It's an
there now.
investment property. You don't
If
reside there.
if I bought the property because I need a bigger property for my family and I'm just waiting to save the money. I work for the city, waiting to save the money up to fix it so that, because we need more space.
It's
You
still an
understand what I'm
investment.
saying?
It's still an investment. It's not your
It's-
residence. It's
It's still
considered
an
an
investment
investment
until
property.
I move in.
When you move in, it's no longer an investment property.
Okay,
Okay, if it's a vacant property, you need a vacant property license. If you have rental units, you need a rental license.
right.
If you move in and you occupy one unit and you have two rentals, you need a rental license for the two. So
Right.
read, the code is very clear on that sort of thing, so I recommend that you read that. Anything else before we vote?
From me?
No, from anyone, just checking. If there's nothing else?
Nothing further.
Okay, with regard to HA 2024-001-023, 1417 West Toronto Street, Major Ashlock and Shelley Clavis. Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained. Appeal sustained.
City affirmed.
Okay, Mr. Ashlock, you won your appeal. Thank you very much. Witnesses are excused.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Okay, let's proceed. What do we have next?
Calling your attention to item number 45 on today's list, hearing appeal ending 1150 2006 Bellevue Street. Israel Graham is the appellant. He's available on the call, sir. He's on the Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Who's representing the city?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the appeal number?
That's HA 2024-001150,
Will-
2006 Bellevue.
That is my case, Will Fernandez for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, you have witness, Mr. Fernandez?
Yes, Inspector Eric Brown is the witness.
Okay, Mr. Israel Graham, are you present?
Yes, hello. How you guys doing? Good
Okay,
evening.
Mr. Graham, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn?
Yes,
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
yes,
Please place put your hand down. Sir, you're in a vehicle. Are you moving?
no, I'm parked, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
welcome.
Fernandez, your witness, I don't see.
I saw him just a moment ago. I saw his name. Let's see if he's still in here. Inspector Brown, are you with us? Huh. I am certain, literally, oh, there, I do see his name. Inspector Brown, if you're trying to speak up, you are on mute.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Inspector.
Okay, Mr. Brown, would you raise your right hand so that you can be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, Mr. Fernandez?
Thank you. Again, by way of very quick introduction, the appeal before you at this time is the appeal of a site violation notice issued with a $300 fine for renting a property without a rental license. It was issued for the property located at 2006 Bellevue Street on March 1st, 2024. I will now examine the witness. Good afternoon, Inspector Brown.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to share my screen and put the city's exhibit packet up on the screen. Can you let me know if you're able to see it? Should say Exhibit A.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good. I'm going to scroll down to City Exhibit page 2. Can you identify what this document is?
Yes, that is a site notice violation.
Okay, and what
A ticket.
are you saying it functions like a ticket as opposed to a regular notice of violation?
Exactly.
Okay, and by that, do you mean that it's a one-time fine without re-inspections and a violation staying open for until it's resolved by the department? Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll down to the middle here and ask you, to what property was this SVN issued? I'll zoom in a little bit so you can
Was
see.
it 206 Bellevue?
Is that 2006 Bellevue Street?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna scroll up to where it describes the violation. What violation was this SVN issued for?
The violation was for a rental license at a single family dwelling.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll down to City Exhibits, page 5. Is this a photograph of 2006 Bellevue Street?
Yes,
Okay, I see there it says Brown E1. Does that indicate that you took this photograph?
that would indicate that, yes.
It also says 3/1/2024. Does that mean that you took the photograph on March 1st, 2024?
Yes,
Okay. When you performed this inspection, and the result of that inspection was the site violation notice for renting without a license, did you investigate whether the property was being rented?
yes, I rang the bell and someone came to the door and I explained to them why I was there. It was a complaint that came in through 311 for it was a anonymous complaint from someone saying that they were renting without a license. So when I rang the bell, I asked the person who answered, were they the owner of the property? They said no. And I told them what the complaint was, and they said that they were renting the property. So when I looked in the system, there was no license assigned to that address, so I just sent them a ticket to the owner.
Okay, Inspector, you can see, or I think you should be able to see, there's a gentleman who is on video, in this meeting, whose video is labeled I.Graham (2). That's the owner of the property, Mr. Graham. Is that the gentleman who came to the door and told you he was renting at the property?
You're asking me?
Yes. Was it Mr. Graham, the owner of the property, the one who came to the door, or was it someone else?
I don't see a Mr. Graham on the screen right
Okay.
now.
Maybe it's on like the second page. Okay, I withdraw that question. Never mind. I have no further questions for the inspector.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Graham, do you have any questions for the inspector?
No.
Okay, thank you. Any additional witnesses, Mr. Fernandez?
No additional witnesses, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right, Mr. Graham, what would you like to tell us regarding this location?
Is a place and then next door is a neighbor that is an anonymous caller, and she's the one that been giving me trouble since I've been owning the property, and I don't know what's her thing with me. I've been nice
Okay,
and
sir, the question is, do you live there?
yes, I do live there.
Okay, so this is not a rental property.
No,
Okay, do you have any idea who answered the door when the inspector came to the property?
I had a visitor at the time was my aunt. That's the only thing I could think of at the time.
And was she living there for an extended period?
Yeah, she was staying with. She was from out of town.
And were you living at the same location while she was there?
Yes.
Okay,
I have, oh, I'm sorry.
yes, Mr. Fernandez?
I just have some cross-examination when
Yes,
Mr. Graham's
please.
done. May I proceed?
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Graham, you heard that the inspection was performed on March 1st, 2024, right?
Yes.
Okay, and is it your testimony today that you lived at this property on March 1st, 2024?
Yes.
Okay, did you have any other addresses that you regularly used at that time?
No, only my mother address, and that's in 2401 South Millick Street.
Okay, when would you use your mother's address?
I've been using that forever. I just didn't never change it on my ID or anything.
Okay, but if you're gonna give someone your address, let's say someone asked you on March 1st, 2024, where do you live? What would you have answered?
I would give them Bellevue Street.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again. Put the city's exhibit packet back on the screen. Can you let me know when you can
Yes.
see that, Mr. Graham?
Yes,
Okay,
I see Exhibit C.
I'm gonna scroll down to City Exhibits, page 7. Do you recognize this document, Mr. Graham?
Yes,
Is this the appeal packet that you filled out and submitted?
yes,
It's dated March 1st, 2024. Is that the correct date?
yes,
Okay, did you provide your address at that time as 2401 South Millick Street?
yes, because they said it had to match with my ID. So my ID, I put the exact address that's on there that's matched with my ID. That's what they said. So I
Board
put that
admin-
address.
Did the person taking this form in from you tell you that you had to provide the address that matched your ID?
Yes, at that time, if I recall, yes.
Okay, have you ever been asked to, make sure, actually, you know what, I retract that question. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down here to the reason for your appeal. Can you read that for me, please?
Yes, it say I was unaware of having a rental's license for I was unaware.
I'll zoom in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on one
Now,
second,
can you
sir.
read it better, sir?
I'm trying to unaware a rental license shown working on appeal for license. Yes, because yes, this is my
Okay,
first time.
wait. Let's go back. Make that a little larger. Again, Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, I'll drop the blue.
Yeah, okay. Now, Mr. Graham, would you reread that, please?
Yes, it said I was unaware that I needed a rental's license. Show working on
No,
applying.
so now, you missed the word, so now.
Yes,
Continue.
I was unaware that I needed a rental license. Show I'm working on applying for a rental's license, and I state that matter because this was my first go around, and I never had this come across, so I didn't know what to do. So the first thing I did was go down there and trying to do the right thing. I didn't have much knowledge on with properties and stuff. I was unaware about a lot of things. So I went down there and thinking that I needed a license when I'm not renting a license. I was trying to do the correct thing because in this matter, I had 2 complaints against me with this matter with this neighbor. And the other matter was the sticker that's on the window. That was the first matter. Then the second matter was this matter right here with the anonymous call with the rental's license.
So, Mr. Graham, your testimony is that back in March 2024, you thought you needed a rental license, even though you weren't renting the property?
Yes, I was. Yes. I was
Okay.
just trying to do the correct thing, and I didn't have much education on property or anything. So I was trying my best just to, I guess, clear everything up. Because again, I've been getting calls dealing with this matter with this neighbor to the right side of me, and that's proof of mine. Is I'm dealing with another matter with the sticker again on the window, staying about the front deck.
Okay.
Mr. Fernandez, I know, well, just a little patience, please. If you put that photo up again.
Of course.
And any additional photos you may have.
Yes, first I'll reshare the exhibit packet. And I'll scroll down to the appeal that was submitted.
The photo of the image of the property is.
Oh, yes, I'll scroll up.
Okay,
And also-
it appears to be a stop work order in the window. That isn't part of this appeal? Is something else happening?
Yes, excuse me, sir, if I had permission to talk. This is the first incident that the harassment started from.
Wait. If you're doing construction work without a permit, that's not harassment.
No, no, sir. Can I'm gonna rephrase my question or
Okay,
restart.
rephrase your statement.
Rephrase my statement. I had bought this house, living in the house, right? And it was a deck built on top. You know, I was unaware of certain causes or whatever. I thought everything was fine. But the neighbor next door, we had an issue with a tree in the back. It led from that, you know, and I thought everything was fine. Then she called down there. She called and said something about the deck. She said something about the deck. Then she called again and she said something about a rental's license. And
Okay.
this is the honest truth. And the first step was the sticker right there about the deck.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready. And I guess the deck has been removed. Is that the case?
No, actually, I'm going to court right now for it. I thought this was the actual hearing for it because I called I hired an engineer company and we typed up everything in the proper
Yeah, you have a
drawer.
zoning hearing.
Y-
So
yes,
that,
yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Now I think I understand.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna cut you off because this is my first go through. So please bear with me. You know, I'm younger. I'm a
Wait. Let's stop. The reality of it is that someone began construction without a permit. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that stop work order on the window. Let's move on because that's not part of today's hearing.
Okay.
Mr. Fernandez, any additional cross?
No additional cross. I would just reserve a brief closing.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Graham, how long have you owned this property?
Since 2018, I believe.
So you've been living there for 6 years?
Yes.
And you have not changed any of your identification, your driver's license or anything?
No,
to reflect your correct address?
No, I'm just comfortable with it with my mother's because I haven't had time to really get around to it. It's just a habit, you know, it's just a normal habit. All majority of my mail go there and everything, and she called me and come pick it up. It's just a normal habit that I see that I need to change now.
If I may I ask just a few follow-up questions?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to share my screen again. This time I will have a different document on the screen. Mr. Graham, do you recognize this document?
Well, so I'm trying to look at it. Yes, sir. I applied for a loan, sir.
Okay, and can you read what this paragraph right here says?
Yes, sir. Again, sir.
Please answer the question.
Yes.
Please answer.
Yes.
Read this statement. Just read it.
Yes. 2401 residents. Yes, because that's matching my ID.
No. Read the language in the paragraph. That's what was requested of you.
Single man principal resident, 2401 South Miller Street, Philadelphia, PA.
No. Where it goes back, this assignment.
Oh, this assignment as July 17, 2000, single man have prepared residence at 2401 South Miller Street.
Okay.
And then rather
Mr.
than
Fernandez, before you move on, I know
Yes.
this is a little unorthodox. Would you kindly read that for us, please, so that it's
Yes, of
correctly in
course.
the record?
Collateral assignment of leases and rents. This assignment made as of July 17th, 2023 by Israel Graham, a single man having his principal residence at 2401 South Millick Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19142. The assigner in favor of Equity Max Inc., a Florida corporation having an address of, and then it goes on to state a Fort Lauderdale address. It then goes on in the witnesseth paragraph to talk about assigning, let's see, any and all leases or leases with amendments, if any, and all month-to-month tenancies with respect to portions or all of the real property known as 2006 Bellevue, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19140. And the date of this document is July 17th, 2023. It is available with the Department of Records and is uploaded to the Philodox system.
Yes, I have permission to speak? Can I speak
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Yes, I have to do that because I pour out a loan. I refinanced the house. That's how I got the house redid so I could finish doing certain work on the house. And I poured out a loan. I refinanced it at the end of the day. And again, I had to give out 2401 because it matched my ID. So the loan going to my bank account, everything had to match up. Everything running back to 2401 South Millick Street. So I was using the money to finish doing repairs to the house as I was living there and staying there. So therefore, I had to do it that way and make up paperwork stating leases and stuff. That's the only way I could get the loan.
Okay, Mr. Graham, so you're on the record, sir, but you understand what collateral assignment of leases and rents means, correct?
No, I'm not. I'm not. A lot of things I'm not aware of. And
did you have a lawyer to help you with this?
No, I did not.
Okay, did you tell the individual loan company that you would be using rents from this address to support the loan that you were taking out?
No, I did not. I don't
You did
recall.
not.
I did recall that at the end of the day.
Okay.
I just knew that I had a mortgage and I knew I had to pay it.
Okay. Would you scroll to the final page, Mr. Fernandez, the signature page?
There's no signature page on here. There's a property description. Oh, here it is.
Yep. Okay, so that's yeah, the signer, Mr. Israel Graham, who assigns rents and et cetera from that property to the lender. But okay, anything else, Mr. Fernandez?
I have no further questions. Again, I would
Okay.
have about a 20-second close.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Graham, any final comments you want to make before we hear from the city?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, I would just briefly say this is a case about credibility. You heard Inspector Brown testify capably and with good recollection as to his interaction with an individual at the property that he spoke to and confirmed was a renter. Mr. Graham, on the other hand, his testimony today has been mixed and inconsistent. There have been various indications that what he has told the board doesn't match up with various records in both the city systems and in city systems. And so when it comes down to a he said, she said type of situation, the party that has maintained their credibility best should win the day. And I would just propose that Inspector Brown's testimony was not undercut or questioned in any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now poll the board regarding HA 2024-001150-2006 Bellevue Street, Israel Graham. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Mr. Graham, you've lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. Should you need information as to how to do that, check with the administrator's office and they will give you whatever information you need in order to file your appeal. Have a good afternoon, sir. The witnesses are excused.
Excuse me. So I gotta pay the fine, sir?
Yeah, you lost your appeal.
Okay, so where do I pay the fine at? So this is what I'm asking.
Read the violation notice. It gives you instructions as to how to pay the fines. Okay?
I don't have a violation notice, sir. Only I have what y'all sent me in the mail stating.
Read that document. If you need information, call the inspector's name and phone number on the violation. Mr. Fernandez, is anyone else you want him to communicate with?
Yeah, I can provide my email address, and if he emails me, I'll send him a copy of the violation notice. It's William.Fernandez, as you see it on your screen.
Yes.
FERNANDEZ at phila.gov, phila.gov.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
That concludes my business.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I believe that concludes our list for today. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and your participation. Have a good evening.